Hi all. Right, just a quick recap. I know I mentioned I did the wee bit of video before the main part of that last part, which I've not quite uploaded yet, but I did discuss. It was the combat one, the combat in this unit that was in here, and we got him retreating and taking a step loss. I managed to count the odds up at 4-1. I put a wee note in the video as well. It was 5-1. It was 20. We had 20 strength and they were 4 strength, so it was 5-1. So I look back on all the chits, and I think I mentioned this as well. And the only chit, this chit was turned that way. Oops, are we getting that? Let me zoom out a little bit. That chit was turned that way. All the chits that were applicable weren't any odds chits, but I thought this might have been an odds chit, and unfortunately it was 6-1 in the back, or that would have had a major effect on that if it had been 5-1, or well, 5-1 would we have got D2, might have got an RD1 at a 5-1 possibly. However, it didn't count anyway, so that was fine. Also, the other thing I wanted to mention, why was I keen on wanting this unit to move from here? You know, surely I wanted it to stay there and take a step loss rather than retreat into here and take a step loss. Because I knew I was dispersing the unit, so now he's in a position where he can get out. Whereas, oh, well, I suppose he would still be in him, and the fact I'm dispersed. Yeah, didn't quite consider that. But I suppose there's an extra hex for him to move into. You know, and I think I think we're better keeping him in there. But however, that was based on a dice roll. But I just remember looking back and saying, and I think I mentioned that, I prefer him to retreat and take the step loss. And then I looked at it and I thought, well, no, I don't think I would. But however, it was the dice dealt with that. So yeah, I think that's all. So German Impulse next, and and the big one that suddenly came to my mind a bit more clearer than what it has been throughout the day. If I draw a bridge event, it's game over. It really is. 10 more points takes them to 66, and they only need 61. Okay, I've mentioned this, and I don't think the bridge would go anywhere else. I'm pretty sure it would bring that unit into supply, and all he needs to do is be able to trace supply in that phase. At the end of the day, I think. One sec. Crossing the Meuse River. If a German unit occupies a hex west of the Meuse River from which German supply can be traced during the victory check in the end of the day phase, add 10 victory points. So, yeah, I'm assuming they get added and we check for victory, and then, well, like I say, if that happens, and not only, if it doesn't happen today, okay, I suppose then I've got another whole day to try and fix things, but I'm not, I'll need to pay more heed. If I do get the chance to get into the next day, I'll need to pay more heed to that, because I've not really considered that. I know I remember saying at the beginning of the day, I'll need, this could happen right up until the last card draw and whatever, and I was like, well, maybe I should have been trying to get some victory points back, but then some things I went horribly wrong. So the 25th he would need, what am I looking for? Oh dear. Today, right, as it needs greater than 60 victory points today. This is the last time for a strategic win or loss today. That's right, the 24th. And it would be greater than 60 for a win for the Germans, for a loss for us. But then it starts dropping by 5 victory points each day. So at the end of the 25th, it starts becoming operational loss or win, then it's greater than 55s. So we need to start putting some pressure on. However, right, this could be all for nothing, because these 6 cards, I could turn over these 2 cards right now and I could be pretty much game over. I don't think the 4 cards I've got in my hand would save me from a bridge event. That's shall we say. Right, well, let's go down and look at the cards, Grant. Okay, I kind of wish I hadn't really thought about this now because it feels like big pressure on the card draw now. Need to get the pinkies warmed up. Right, okay, here we go. Oh, I thought that was... When I seen the combat tactic, I thought, oh, is that engineers? But it's not. So it's consolidation. Again, not the 24th. What's the other one? There's a division card again with consolidation. We've got a 24th there. That's good then. Okay, so... Well, if this card's going to get discarded anyway, isn't it? So let's remind ourselves. I don't think they necessarily go... Well, what would be... Well, you know what? They're both 1. There's no primaries. They're both 1. This is the lowest card. So, but I think if they'd been the other way about, this card going away would put this in the command card slot anyway. So let me just remind myself about the fuel situation. Right, so if only one card indicates a formation that's out of fuel on this date, place out of fuel markers on all units of that formation on the map and in the reserve units box, then discard the card. Use the other card drawn as command card for the impulse. So if both of these had a 24th on them, I think we'd just discard both the cards and... or, hang on. Oh, if both of them have had the 24th, in some ways it's not so good because if both cards indicate a formation that's out of fuel on this date, discard both cards, so that's good, but the German impulse immediately ends without a command being performed. Do not place out of fuel markers on indicated formations in this case. So in some ways, I think it's probably better that, because I'll show you once we see where the one of the units is anyway, is possibly a candidate for our next attack. Maybe not our next impulse, but our next attack. Okay. So there we go, 15 PG division, no fuel on the 24th. And the units are, there's 2 of them. There's one here, this is the one that I'm saying we're probably going to have a go at. So that's really good, because he was 5 strength. So, because out of fuel, well, it has some bad things that happen to them. I'll maybe just check that just after doing this. Another guy's along here, just outside Ettelbruck. I don't think he'll maybe come into... He might not come into it before the end of the day, but however, there's that. So we mark both of them out of fuel, and then this card gets discarded. So still no bridge engineers, and that's us now got 4 cards left in this sport card box. Sorry, in the draw pile. So, okay, so this is a card, what is that? It's for the 67th up the top, isn't it? 3rd PG division. Okay, hang on a sec. I was just quite keen on checking out if you may not attack, move, retreat, or advance, so he can't retreat. I'm saying that. Oh, I've got him surrounded anyway. Oh well. If defender, the attackers may disregard 1 attacker hit. Yeah, okay. Well, it's something, eh? It's always nice to be able to forget about an A hit. Okay, let's see where these 2 guys are. They're not in the reserves. I've not eliminated them. So there's only 2 of these. I think there was some mechanised ones, wasn't it? Of 67 core. Okay, yeah, so there's 2 units. Obviously the special were past that date, 21st that was on. So activate, we're wanting to activate them. One of them's in Liège, so in low supply, he's full strength. The other one is just outside Liège in this hex, in low supply as well. I think he's also full strength. So they're both in low supply, but remember Grant, that doesn't mean to say they can't have a combat. So keep that in mind, Grant. We don't want Martin on the top of the comments list again. Catch him out. Okay, so no roadblocks, no army objective markers need to be moved. So looking at moving these guys, but well, the one in Liège cannot move. Remember, they can only use movement method 1. So he's not moving. And the other guy's not moving as well, is he? Because there's no movement method 1 that he can make, and he's actually able to trace supply from where he is. Yeah. So he must, was he one of the ones that moved back? No, I think it was the one under here that moved back, actually. But maybe the situation here changed. Anyway, he cannot trace supply from where he is. So they're not going to move, I don't think. Yeah, because it says, if already in a hex from which supply may be traced, do not move. So he doesn't move. Right, so now we've got the 2 active units in low supply wanting to do a combat check. Okay. Right, I need to find out which one's which. Right, I've just moved the low supply marker off there. So he's selected number 1. Put this guy down the bottom. Right, here's another random. Was that on here, maybe? And I've took that off to have a look. I think that could be the case. So yeah, he's selected number 2. Yeah, I think that is in there. But I'm going to double check that. And obviously that low supply marker's in Liège. No, I've actually got that wrong. I think I was looking in this hex. That's where the IP marker was. Okay, so Unit 1 there, Unit 2 there. So Unit 1 checking first. Well, I suppose we should look here because... But then again, he's not getting the support. That's 7 strength in there. And an IP is 8. So, and then there's no reserves. There's no assault coordination in the... There's not a support card anyway. So that would be straight up 5 against... What did I say? 8. So it's unlikely he's going to make any moves. So, but 5 and what is that one? I think it's 4, isn't it? And again, they're both coming across the river. Nah, this isn't going to happen, is it? No, it's not going to happen. So it's 9 halved, 4 into a city which is doubled. Yeah. Oh, big stretch. Yeah, and that's the only checks that can be made. Okay, I think that's going to be straightforward. Right, I'm just wanting to make sure that I've got this right. I suppose I just started thinking there, the fact they didn't do anything. Well, you know what? That's not technically the case. Oh, I'm just about to put an IP marker on this, but he might even come back to reserves, this is what this was one that came up recently, wasn't it? But I don't think low supply, I couldn't find anything to say that there was no issue with low supply because, right, hang on. Yeah, I did look at this recently, I didn't, and it was a unit that was in supply, but I don't think he could trace reserve supply. So, the necessary requirements are the unit did not move or attack, the unit was not placed on the map from reserves, the unit is adjacent to an allied unit, the unit can trace reserve supply, and the removal of the unit would leave at least 2 steps in the hex. No mention of supply. I mean, obviously this guy can't trace reserve supply, so we're not really considering him, but this guy here can. He can trace reserve supply just across the river into that hex and away. He's adjacent to an allied unit and he's leaving 2 steps in the hex. So, yeah. I think that's going to happen. This is well, I stop myself then. I'll just pause that camera again, just make sure. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. It feels right. Now, and then after that step, I would be able to try and build IPs, but unfortunately, this guy's in wage, so I was just about to build the IP on that, and then I remembered, why is there a... They just seem to keep appearing there now. Look, here's another IP marker. Just lying in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to have to be careful when I take them off. It wasn't here, was it? It's way up here, just lying in the middle of nowhere. Okay, I've went all the way back. We're on this. I'm recording part 11 just now, and I went right back to part 6, looking at some video footage, and this cube is still. Have I got that on camera? No, it's further around, crap. This green cube is still sitting about here somewhere. So I've no idea where it's come off. I'm just going to chuck it away and assume that it was on a unit that maybe moved. And we'll just let that go, I think, because that's me went back 5 episodes, I think, 5 parts, and still not found the answer, so I'll just leave it. Okay, so that's that German Impulse over. So that's us. Only 4 cards left now, so let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, I was yet again I had this card in my hands. Let's get these 5th Armour units deployed. And then I thought, right, is there anything that might be more important to do? I mean, I've got the 3rd Army bit, but probably just going to leave that to the last move, I think. And then I thought, well, what if the Germans do activate? We've got these, I was saying we were going to repair 3 of these units, and I thought, maybe I should do this first, get 3 more points back, strength points back. The worry with doing that now is it's a reinforced battle that's in my hand. So, maybe I would be wanting to use... I don't think so, because you get the bonus combat tactics with the 3rd Army card anyway. I just think that might be more important than placing these 5 core units. I mean, they're not going to be put in a place that's going to... Of course, the other thing I was talking about was not repairing, maybe moving this guy along to block this guy. You know what, I'm going to take my chances with this. I want to make that repair. Right, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm doing this. I'm going to replace... So I assigned 3 replacement points to the core. So let me just double check I'm getting the rules right with that again. Okay, so it must be in supply and able to trace supply, and it may be dispersed, which is important. Now the only bit we've got allied elite replacements. This is one of the... Actually, this is the question that led to that bit before, because of the question I asked. An elite allied unit may only receive an elite replacement step if there are no non-elite units in the core eligible to be assigned non-elite steps. I can't remember what the question was. It was like, well, that does say eligible, doesn't it? Yeah, I think my question had been, and it was probably part of this game, was it not, that we had a couple of units that were out of supply that were non-elite, but I had an elite unit that could trace supply, and I was wondering if I was allowed to do it. But that sounds like it's worded to say that it's alright, because they wouldn't be eligible. I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing that up with something else. Okay, so oh, excuse me. Obviously we can't repair that guy. We've got their 5th core, aren't they? So I've got this guy. He's non-elite as well, so I'm going to repair him for 1. And then we've got the dispersed guy. Yeah. So he can repair. He's non-elite as well. I think they all are actually. Yeah, that's right. And then the last one, just for the down, is here. That's a cat. Yeah, that's the armor unit. Yeah. So he goes back up to full strength. That's pretty good. So yeah, it was quite worthy, I think, that benefiting from the whole 3 point. Now, what did I say? Oh, don't tell me. No, I'll be alright. They need to be able to. They need to be in supply and able to trace. Right, I started thinking he was in low supply. I must have been thinking of somebody else. Yeah, no, he's not had supply issues, don't think. Oh, is it this guy here I'm thinking about? Yeah. Yeah. So I couldn't repair him because he's in low supply. That was it. And they need to be able to trace supply though. Well, he can clearly trace supply, so can he. And this guy, I just started wondering there because I thought we were coming across but this is a bridge river, so it's just with this guy moving into here. But I can go 1, 2. Zoom out, right. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, nice and simple, I think. Makes the impulse go quick, so we can look at the next 2 German cards and see where our fate is going. See where our fate lies. We might as well push on to see, because what's the Bridge Engineers game over, I believe. Okay, I'll push on for the next German impulse then. Actually, maybe I should make a cut there. Yeah, I'll just make a cut there so I can free up some space on the camera. Okay guys, cheers. Hi all. Right, 4 more cards left. Fingers crossed. German impulse. Oh, it's another division card. Another one with consolidation. Oh, this is 9th Panzer guys, isn't it? Right, one more card. Come on. Right, I'm looking for bridge engineers. That's all I'm interested in. So no bridge engineers. 2 more cards to come. This is the primary. Now, what is going to happen with the 9th Panzer then? Well, it'll depend. Yeah, this is one that would deploy, because if it gets to, well, I'm saying if it gets to, because the special's not happening. So yeah, if this doesn't get used for Panzer Battalion within an attack as a combat tactic, then it'll come into the it'll come into the command card box, and then we'll activate 9th Panzer Division. And as you can see, they're in the reserve units box. So, because they're not on the board yet, they'll deploy somewhere. Well, I was going to say, what do we want? Would we prefer that, or I don't know. Well, the OKW, I don't know. There might still be an attack left in them. Okay, so No, we've got a consolidation event. Well, that could be even better. I say it could be even better, but yeah, because we've definitely got. I remember talking about one of the OKW units that had took a hit. I wasn't sure because I couldn't remember it happening, but I wasn't going hunting for it, and it didn't look like it had been flipped over. It just looked. It must have been a genuine hit. Right. So, because that would consolidate one of the OKW units, if there's one to do. So let's have a look. Yeah, there he is there. So, just need to double check. Right, there's 8 OKW units. 2 of them in the reserves are good. That one's good, that one's good, that one's good. So that's 5. And then, there's another damaged one. So there's 2 that have taken hits. So, pretty sure it goes to the highest one, doesn't it? It'll be this guy here. Yeah, so we are going to use this for the event and repair this unit. I'll put him down the bottom again. And, well, he'll just have to hang about a bit, yeah, on his reduced side. Okay, well, yeah, I think that probably is better. Probably means that these 9th Panzer units are going to sit in the reserve units box for another day. So that's going to be quite tricky to get them out that way then, isn't it? Because that card is more than likely going to end up in the support card box and be used as a consolidation event. And this late in the game, there's always something to repair, you would think, most of the time. And the fact that there's not many 47 core units left, you know what, I think there's only 2 47 core units left. So, is there likelihood of them activating and coming out? I suppose there is. Right, anyway, Grant. That shouldn't be there anymore because we've had an impulse with our repairing. Okay, so, well, this could be interesting though. So now we're going to activate OKW. So, like I say, there's two in the reserve units box, and the other 6 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All there. Right, no support card, no roadblocks. Army objective stays where it is. Yeah, because they activate. I was just at that bit as well. Right, where was that? 9.8. Once on the map. Their objectives. When moving an OKW unit activated by an OKW card or the Army Group B card, use the nearest Army objective marker as a unit's objective. Yeah, okay. So it is going to be the 6th Panzer Army objective marker, which is in there. Okay. Right. Well, let's go and have a look, see what they're going to do. Okay, right, this is interesting. I thought at first, movement method 2, and I was counting it out and I thought, and then I realised, it needs to be closer to his army objective, but he is as well. So, unit selector 1 here can go, now there's no road into that hex, but it's 2, he's not in a zone of control, so it's 2, 3, oh no, he can't. Or can he? Oh no, yeah, he can. I'd moved them into there originally, but oh dear. Okay, so this guy's not exerting a zone of control, but this guy is. So 1, 2 into the broken hex, 3 into the clear hex, 4 along the road, and then 5 adjacent to way. And oops. And at the moment he's 1, 2, 3 away from his army objective, but when he's here, he's 1, 2 away from his army objective. So yeah. Yeah, I think that works. So, well, it's not just him that's going to go as well. The whole lot are going to go, aren't they? Unit 1, 2, and then 8. I mean, this guy, isn't it? I checked him at first, but he's having to break zone of control. He's coming down this road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's just one short, and the other two guys are across the river, so they're not. So I think all of these are going to go. 1, 2, 3. Weave in a few detachments here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're adjacent to an allied VP hex and closer to their army objective. And detachments were left. So, still don't have any markers. That's where you started, isn't it? And one in there, and one in there. Okay, let me just pause and let that one sink in. Make sure I've got it right. No, just on to 10 to 13. This was a mechanised infantry, so I had to look through them. The one that cropped up was enter a town occupied by German armour. Well, there's only German armour in this town. He could actually reach there, but the stack's full, so there's no space at the inn, as they say. Okay, so on to 10 to 13. Number 3 first. Movement arrows is up there. That's not any good. Closer to the army objective. Well, yes, it's across into this hex, but is there space in here? I have my doubts. Oh, yeah, he's only 1 step. He's 3 steps. So, these units select number. Yes. That's 6 steps. And he's 1 hex closer to his army objective. Okay, so next guy's number 4 in there. Can't move the arrows, but he can get close to his arm objective. He's having to break his zone of control, so it'd be 1, 2 into there. He's not got the movement to go into the forest here. But 1, 2, 3, 4 into the square hex takes him adjacent to this allied unit and obviously closer to his arm objective. Now, hang on though, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be closer to his arm objective, so we need to check for the 3 to 1 advantage on. Oops, that's maybe just off. Sorry. It's just there is a chance that moving adjacent to this allied unit might give the 3 to 1 advantage more so than the dispersed guy here, because these OKW units are adjacent to this. So let me have a look at that. I think he's going to tie break to this one because it says if no hex or more than 1 hex offers a 3 to 1 advantage, move to the hex closest to the objective. Well, obviously this one's only 1 hex away from the objective. This one would be 2, and it can get there's only 3 strength in here, and you count any adjacent units and active units in the reserve. Well, we've got 8 strength of reserve units. That would be 2, 10, and then the unit that we're bringing down is 14, and he's got 3, so that is more than 3 times. I mean, yeah, I know there's a river on the way, but again, nobody's ever suggested that it's not a, what's the word again? It's not a situational strength. It's just a straightforward, simple. It's a simple strength. I think they call it. I wish it was worded that there, because I'm sure, is that not worded somewhere else? Simple strength. Might be a German solo game. Don't recall it seeing it within this for a long time anyway. But I think that could be the wording in there, which just takes that doubt away from your mind. Okay, so braking zone of control. 1, 2 on the road. 3 on the road. Hang on. You could actually go into this hex or this hex, couldn't you? And either one of the hexes is as close to his arm objective, but in actual fact, this one's westernmost. So you would think he would go all the way to there, and it makes more sense. He's adjacent to the Muse. Well, he's one hex west of where he would be adjacent to the Muse. So yeah, I think he's going to do that. 1, 2, braking zone of control. 3, 4, 5. And let's see, he was dispersed, so no issues there. Right, stop making a mess, Grant. There is a 3-to-1 advantage there when you take into account of the reserves, and he's closer to his army objective. Yeah. I don't know, I feel doubts in my mind more so. Just the last, just made 2 or 3 clumsy mistakes. Martin actually commented also that about quite a few times he was typing out some mistake that he'd noticed me making, and then not long after it I realised the mistake. So I'm getting away with, I'm noticing some of them. So, but the downside to that is I'm making some of them. I'm initially doing that and then maybe realising afterwards. But it's all very well if you catch them in time. So last guy to move, can't move via arrows. Now, he can't just jump across into here, well, for 2 reasons. The stack's full now, but already 1 unit crossed that Bridge River. And crossing into this one does not get him closer to his army objective. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 1, 2, 3 away. Well, this hex is full as well, but that's only 3 away as well. So, don't think he can get closer to his army objective. He's on his own, so can't infiltrate anywhere. So he's wanting to move adjacent to an allied unit. Which might just be these guys, I suppose. He could get down adjacent to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, but I think that's going to be further for his army objective, isn't it? So if he was, he'd maybe cross there to get adjacent to him. Yeah, he would. Because he would have a choice of there or there, but this would be 4 away from his army objective, and this would be 3. So 3 away from his army objective. He's down here, 1, 2, 3, 4 away. Yeah, so I think he's going to just pop across there. So remember, that unit crossed that hex side Bridge River, but he's crossing another hex side Bridge River, so from the same hex but a different Bridge River hex side. And a detachment to the left here. Okay, does that feel right, Grant? I think so. Right, I took a pause there and ended up being an overnight pause. So, right, but I've moved the units into place, so just try to catch up again. Yeah, just obviously looking back on things there, this is nasty as well, isn't it? I mean, we did put this unit in, but he is only a 2 strength armoured unit. Okay, he's in the city, gets doubled, but they've moved a full strength division, I think it is. Well, part of a division, part of another division, into place. And oh no, hang on though, we might be getting away with the reserves there, because there's nowhere for them to go. Yeah, because this area is obviously starting. You know, all the Germans are in this area now. With that second armour unit's away, this unit got pushed back and is dispersed as well. So I mean, any units placed into these hexes can trace reserve supply. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, I don't think anything can get there. Yeah, because can't go there, or could he? No, he'd have to trace into there and then be able to go on a road. Yeah, which would mean coming down here, and he can't because there's zone of control there. Yeah, no, I don't think it's not possible across the river, because he needs to be able to trace into like this hex. Remember, it's reserve supply, so we can't trace in. It's not that we can come down here and trace into this hex. So, and then here's not a possibility either. Okay, so that's one thing in our favour at least. So anyway, let's check determination though. Let's see, what have we got here? That's 3, 4 and 5. So 12 strength. Now we don't have a support card that got used for the consolidation. Yeah. We do have 2 reserves, like I've said. However, it does look to me like this is not. See, again, I don't know. Could this possibly be one of the questions Martin's put aside? This is coming up again. This must have came up though in games previously. Bullet 2 of the attack check sequence is include all active German reserve units that. Oh, hang on. Right, okay, I take it back. So was I criticising that before? Because it does say that could legally be placed in hexes adjacent. And from which reserve supply can be traced. Oh. Hang on here, maybe I'm getting myself muddled up with some other thing that I've thought about. Right, it must be something else I'm talking about. Let's just scratch that wee bit. Okay, so you can't bring reserves in to determine that if that's an attack. So what did I say, 12? So it's 12 against 2. But he's in the city, so it's 12 against 4. And then we've got, I don't think we're getting anything else, are we? No. No. And this is one of the queries I had a way back. But I found out the actual terrain chits are built that a city is a city, it's not a terrain type. I think it maybe explains that at the beginning of the book, to be honest. But I always wondered, because this actually looks like a clear city, it looks clear, a hex. So does that count as well? But however, I think it was possibly John Butterfield that answered the question himself, saying no, it's just a city. I think it is if there's any terrain chits, they must all have city as an option then, I'm assuming. I don't think that's the case, is it? Possibly is actually. Possibly city's always an option on the terrain chits. So you can't have city and clear. It's not a clear hex, it's a city. Right, come on, stop it. Right, so 12 against 4, there's nothing else doing. That's 3-1. There's a good chance this is happening, I think. 3 to 1's. It is 3 to 1. Your counting yesterday was terrible, Grant. 12 against 4. Yes, 3 to 1. Yeah, no coming across the river. That's all I can see. So 3 to 1. I don't think there's any modifiers, and there's no elites involved there. No army group card, and there's no support card. So, yeah. 3 to 1 odds, no modifiers. So we get the 2. I'm pretty sure that's happening. Although it's strange, some of the further down ones can be a bit odd. 2 cancel of less than 1.5 to 1, right? We're not that. Or defenders in a non-VP town. That is not a non-VP town. Just looking at some of the other ones there. There you go. If we'd rolled a 3 there, that's cancel of less than 1.5 to 1 or attacking from 1 hex. So a higher roll there would actually have stopped that attack. And then you've got other ones where only defender armor, only defender elite. 6 is cancel of less than 2 to 1 or defender in town. So when it says town there, I mean that's not a town, that's a city, Grant. So yeah, I think that's specifically saying town, that one. So I don't think you could say town or city. Right. Anyway, so it is going ahead. We rolled a 2, cancel less than 1.5 to 1, or defender is in a non-VP town. Right. Okay. Well, I'm not liking this. I mean, this game's really, this situation up the north, I should have realised it was going to get worse and worse. I mean, they've still got a load of reserves. Mostly for the, well, 2nd SS, OKW and 1st SS. And one of the units from that 67 Corps now as well. Which are all units that would be deployed up there somewhere. And, another thing I was thinking, assuming we do get past these last 2 cards and avoid defeat here, it's all about the Germans, the reserves tomorrow. It's not a lot, it's a division of the 58th and 2 strong 4-step infantry units, one from the 67th, one from the 53rd. We get a British Corps. I think that's the Highlanders though, isn't it? That must be the Highlanders. That will be alright then. That's assuming we get past these 2 cards. So yeah, what was that sidetracked there? Yeah, the attack on Way here, if we were to lose this, because there is a good chance this guy could get retreated. And that's another 5 victory points. Oh no, don't tell me that's enough for them, is it? They're sitting at 56. They need 61. I'm pretty sure my math's working there. 56 plus 5 is 61, Grant. Oh dear. Can I reinforce that battle? Oh, but us reinforced battle, I can only put 2 strength in, can't I? Do I have a reinforced battle? Well, no, I have the 3rd army card, but oh dear. Could this be the end? Well, you know what? We need to make a decision about if we're going to play any cards though. Right, so the combat's going ahead. So first things first, he doesn't have a support card. I've already said he can't bring in the reserves, but he's going to draw one of these last 2 cards. The good thing about this is it's another card away, which can't become a bridge event, so right, the bad thing is it could get worse in the combat. Right, here we go. Oh, look what it is. Bridge engineers. What are they getting? Air power. Wow. So we did have a card, although I'm starting to think it might be game over anyway. I mean, I've got to do everything in my power here to stop them taking this city. Uh, that's him chucked air power in now as well. Um, so, like I say, they can't bring reserves in. That is right, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. They cannot trace reserve supply to a hex adjacent to where. Well, apart from, I think this one would, but it's fully stacked because he could go 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is fully stacked. That was a snag with that for them. Okay, so no reserves, right. Well, we've got to decide if we're playing cards then. And I say cards because this could probably be the last thing. Right, is there any possibility, before I chuck everything into this, is there any possibility I could take any more victory points back? That might be worthwhile looking at. So let me just step back from this a second. So unfortunately, being the third army. Oh, hang on. That's armor. That's too far away, though, isn't it? Yeah. I'm looking at La Roche, I guess. It's empty. It's got a detachment. This is the problem. Or it'd be a case of any one unit move into there, because I couldn't move them any other way. So I would need 2 units to be able to move, and I can't strategically move into an enemy town, of course. 2, 3, 4, 5. He doesn't reach either. But I've got 3 cards. I've only got 1 any one unit move. I don't really see any other. I mean, Manhays are the one that's got a unit in it. Ufe were not taken back. Liège were not taken back. So our pawns here, but these are all too far away now. And then down the south, Ettelbrook, no way. There's nothing. This is probably the best possibility, but I can't see any way of it happening. Even deploying the fifth armor units and then moving them with a 5th Corps card is not going to do anything, is it? No, I can't see a way of grabbing victory points back, because this unit moving up to here would remove the detachment, and then I'm only going to have at best a 5 Corps card and the 3rd Army card. But there's not all the 3rd Army units. Most of them are down here. With 8 Corps units, but he's away across here. Infantry, there's another one of them there, but no, this is the nearest one, but like I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's still 3 hexes away, and I can't strategically move, so I can't strategically move adjacent either, can I? So I couldn't do that first, could I? No. That's the whole point of that rule, I think. Well, I'm so glad I thought I'll go and have a look at that. Allied strategic movement bonus. An active allied unit in supply that begins its move in a road hex and not adjacent to an enemy unit may move with an increased movement allowance as long as it conducts its entire movement with the following restrictions. The unit must move through hexes connected by roads. Okay. The unit may not move adjacent to an enemy unit, even a unit that exerts no control, but may move adjacent to a German detachment. A unit may not enter a German town or city. A unit may not cross a German bridge. Damn it. The unit may not enter Westwall Hex. I'm having to cross this bridge. Do I? Can I? 1, 2... No, I'm going to come across this detachment. Oh, I thought I was getting away with it there because it doesn't. I just automatically thought that I had to stop before. I couldn't move adjacent to that with strategic movement. I don't know why I thought that. Because there's no unit there. This German bridge is my downfall though. I can't. Because that way I would have been able to strategically move to here, remove the detachment, then use my any one unit move. Thought I had an option there. I was just looking up at this guy here. He's on the road there, because at first I thought strategically move along here, but because he's Third Army. 1, 2, there's no road there, you see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's 1 hex short. Hang on though, what about this guy? Is he any closer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can he not do it? Yeah, I think this guy can do it. So he's on a road. Strategic movement 1. Yeah, it's the road. And these are all our units. There's no. I can't go near that guy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'd be able to strategically move to there. That doesn't remove the detachment grant. Oh, all the way through that, and could you not have told me that, guys? Could you not have just shouted down the camera and said, look Grant, you might well be able to move adjacent to La Roche, but it's still not moving, removing the detachment marker. So in actual fact, yeah, there's too much, because you need to move adjacent to it, activate that unit again to remove it, and then move in. And I don't have the cards to do that, or the time. I don't think. Or do I? Oh dear me. Yeah, I can still do it. I can. And I can still make my attack as well. All I do is I activate the Third Army. Oh, it's any one core, yeah. It's a pity. Look, there's a unit. There's a unit down here. Could I not have stacked something with him? What a puzzle this is. Yeah, it's not going to be as good. It's not going to allow me to have this attack, because I'm actually going to have to activate the 8th Corps of the Third Army. so that I can move that guy strategically down to adjacent to La Roche. And obviously I thought I would get my attack going here on this guy. But none of these units are going to be active. The only one that's going to be active is this. I don't think there's any way around that. However, if I do move that unit down to there, then I pass the impulse. And by the way, the Germans have one card left, so we've got to be careful with that as well. Now, if they finish their cards in their impulse, I get one more impulse. If they use their cards in my impulse, I finish my impulse, and that's the day done. So, to be honest, well, any attacks that I do make, I want to make sure he's not drawing a card, because he's only got one card. So, however, anyway, if I do that, I move that down to there. I end my impulse there. I then have to skip an impulse or do something else, because I've got to get that unit active again, and then do my any one unit move into La Roche. Do we have, the Germans got one card, so I play my card. As long as I don't let them draw a card, they go into the, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work! Because then they go into their turn, they play their last card, I've got one more impulse, and that's not good enough. Oh no. I just can't make this happen. That's just not fair, eh? To think that because they've only got one card, I can't, because I get my impulse, move the unit down, pass to them, they have their last impulse with their last card, pass to me, I get one more impulse, and the unit that I've moved to La Roche was activated last impulse, so I can't activate him as any one unit move. And he's the only one that would remove the detachment for him then to move in. I don't have the time to do it. Needed them to have one more card. I think I've exhausted every possible option here, I think. I should probably just pause and have a look though, because that's quite close to getting something. I mean, I need to find this out, because if you know, if there's no possibility of this happen, I'm as well chucking everything into this combat. You know, I'm as well putting all 3 cards into it, if the cards all help, that is, which I've got artillery, I've got tank battalion, and I've got a wild card. So and if there's no other way, I need to put everything into them, stopping them from getting that city, because it's going to be game over. Well, I hope you eagle-eyed guys haven't spotted an option, because I can't see it. I can't see another way of me gaining any more victory points. So I think we just need to decide about what we're putting in. Well, we could take a chance, but this could be the last chance I've got of the game. So what are the odds? The odds at the moment are going to be, that's 12-2, so oh no, it's 12-4, sorry. So it is still just straight up 3-1. I don't know, unplug my phone here now. There's the cable in the way. And well, the chip pool side of it's not so bad, because he's just getting 3 and then 1 for the air power, so it's only 4 chips. They're not elite. They are attacking from 1 hex. We are in a city. They are, my guess is they're combined arms. Yeah, we are not, we're just armour. But armour's better than not armour. Um, so, like I say, we've got 3 cards in hand. We've got the Tank Battalion, Corps Artillery, and we can play as many as we want. And then the big one is the wild card. Where's my play? Oh. So what options we got? Air power. Well, they're already going to have the option of artillery. Air power we could use. They play the air power, so there's a gamble with that. I wouldn't like to say what the priorities are. My guess is there's a mixture between the German and the Allied. Assault coordination, that's not applicable. Bug out. That's moving out the hex, so isn't it? Yeah. So that's not any good. That just lets them walk into way. Corps artillery. Engineers doesn't really help, does it? Because we're in a city. Yeah. Screen, you know what? Screen isn't horrible, is it? Who would have thought I'd be saying that through this game? I'm going to play screen as my combat tactic. Because reinforced battle, for us, we get not quite as good a deal as what the Germans do. Unit stat moves into the hex with the defending units. The total reinforcing strength may not exceed the defending strength already in the hex. So I'd have to find a 2 strength unit. Well, you know what? I've not got anybody anyway, have I? These guys are dispersed. 2 strength as well. What do you know? Well, the breaking zone of control. Nah, I've not got. My guess is I would need a 2 strength mechanized unit. Oh, wait a minute. One, two, three, four. What do you know? Look at that. I could bring that guy. So let's say I mean that puts an extra step in as well. That's probably the more important part. I'm still tempted by the screen. And the last one, the last one's Tank Battalion, but we've got a Tank Battalion card anyway. So if we put that extra 2 strength in, that's 4 strength. If we play Tank Battalion, gives us 5 strength. Well, hang on, if I've got 4, they've got 12, so that's 3 to 1. If I used that, I would have 5. That would knock they're already on 3 to 1 grant. Is this 4 not? Have I counted that wrong? It's a city grant, that's even better. It's going to double to 8. So, right, hold on here. Does I think I've thought of this one before. I don't think you add the Tank Battalion point and then double it. So my guess is we've got 8 strength. If we use the Tank Battalion, that would then make it 9. And they've got 12. So that's only 1 to 1. But then, to be honest, not using the Tank Battalion gives them just 1 to 1. Or does it make it 1.5? Probably, hang on. Yeah, so 12 to 8 is bang on 1.5 to 1, whereas 12 to 9 makes it 1.3 to 1, so that's just greater than 1 to 1, so it could still be worthwhile playing that. The screen still looks like so tempting, because I've got to consider what he's going to draw. What could he draw here? A 30-minute video already, isn't it? Well, the thing is this could determine if I get another day of the game, so it does show you I'm not fed up enough to just like think, just let them get this and let's get over it. Okay. So if I don't if I play it for screen, I play the tank battalion. So he's got 4 strength. He would have 5 strength. 12 to 5 is only 2 to 1. Yeah. So he'd have 2 to 1 odds and only 2 chip pools. So, you know what I mean? Even if both of them were a hit, I'm in a city, I reduce 1. Even if some miracle he got one that said D2, which I don't think is possible. D2 and a D1 for D3, 1 reduced from the city. Yeah, no, I couldn't take that. I can take D2 at the most, can't I? 1 for the city and then 1 to flip in the city. I couldn't take D3. But 2 chits, there's no danger he can from 2 to 1. Nah. So I think the screen is a definite way of surviving this. Now, if I'm being forced to battle, that's 8 strength. Well, we said we would probably chuck that tank battalion in to make it 9 strength, giving them only 1 to 1. Because 8 gives them 1.5 to 1, yeah. So 9 strength, 1 to 1 odds. They'd have 1 to 1 odds, but they would have 4 chip pools, and we'd have an extra step. But 4 chip pools, well, at 1 to 1, you would, if you drew D4, 1 hit for the city, then 1, 2, I mean, yeah, that would do it. That's highly unlikely with 2, isn't it? To draw D4 on a 1 to 1 odds attack. He does have air power. Well, I was almost about to play it for screen there, but just the one other thing I'm maybe slightly got a preference to playing the reinforced battle is it would mean okay, there's a chance they might get a hit, but it would mean that I've got 4 potential, well, 8 strength in way, assuming we survive that battle. And okay, I could activate the British. Sorry, that's maybe just off camera. Talking about the reinforced battle from this unit up. I could activate the British Corps and then move that unit up to support, but there's nothing to say the Germans get the first impulse next day and have a go again and take the city. So if I do put that unit in just now and they happen to survive, I mean, yeah, it would have been quite fun to have like played screen as from this third army card, but I think no. I think we're going to play it for reinforced battle. So, right. So it can only be the same amount of strength, and it's got to reach the. It's got to reach the hex. But like I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So no problems there. I mean, he's technically, well, actually, well, it doesn't matter. It's not doing anything else anyway. Yeah. So now we have 8 strength, but what did I say? 12 to 8 does give them 1.5 to 1. So yeah, I'm going to play the tank battalion as well. Suzanne. So going to play the tank battalion too. So that gives him, he's got 4 doubled in the city is 8. 1 for the tank battalion is 9. He's got 12 against 9. So reduces his odds to just greater than 1 to 1, but not 1.5 to 1. But still 4 chip pools here. But like I've said to you, 1 for the city, and we could take 2 more hits and still keep a unit in the city. So we can take D3 from 1 to 1 odds. Sure, why not? Now, I've got, the last card I've got is the 5th core artillery card. I mean, I could play this for artillery as well here. I mean, you've got to feel confident enough that they're going to survive in there. And maybe just to keep that last card to deploy these 5th armour units. Or is that silly? They are dated the 24th, aren't they? So it's not as if they would come in tomorrow, isn't it? It's 2 days, isn't it? Yeah, I think this is maybe where I might take my slight gamble and keep the card. Because I mean, it's only 2 units, but they're armoured units. 4 strength, I believe they're both, are they? Yeah, they're both 4 strength, they're not elite. But they obviously get deployed up in this area, you know, which is the problem area, shall we say. And we need to stop this onslaught, really. The British need to be moving up that way as well. Assuming we get past things here. The good thing is we've only got 1 card left in the deck, so we're not getting a card put in the support card box for a potential bridge engineers. Be interesting to see what the other card is though, if they hadn't had an attack and used that as a combat card draw. Okay, are we going with this, Grant? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I mean, it's a shame to be using that 3rd Army card, but I don't feel like I've got a choice. I had to do something. I think it makes sense. I mean, okay, I could have just chucked in a tank battalion for, that would be 5 strength. Yeah, if I chucked the tank battalion in, they would have been on 2 to 1 odds with the 4 chip pools, but I would only have the 1 unit there and kept the 3rd Army card. You're not starting to going to think about that now, Grant, are you? Nah, I'm going to keep. I mean, I suppose it probably would be okay. 2 to 1 odds with 4 chip pools, and I could take. No, I could only take D2, couldn't I? Not D3. 1 for the town, 1 for the step loss. Yeah, so I could only take D2. But the likelihood of the odds 2 to 1 getting any more than D2. Okay, nah, I'm going to stick with that. When I look down at the 3rd Army units, I mean, all they were going to do is have a go at that out of fuel 5 strength unit. But we've got them surrounded, so, you know, they'll go into low supply. We can probably then have a good go at them still in that state, or maybe even just leave them there, because the units are probably just going to start defending round about Arlen, I think. I know this isn't on camera, but right, I'm going with this. Okay, so they've got 1 to 1 odds, 4 chip pools, and they're playing air power. Oh yeah, I forgot about the air power. So yeah, I forgot about the air power. Some of them can be 2 hats, can't they? Get the feeling it might only be the allied one. I'm just trying to make that up in my head, I think. Right, let's go for it. 4 chip pools. Okay, quite exciting combat here, so I'm going to draw them one at a time. So I've got them in my ready and all drawn. So here we go, here's the first one. 5 to 1, less than 3 to 1. That'll do. Second one. Look at that, G2. So it's German air power, which was a priority there, by the way. And it's only a 1 hit though. Whereas the other one on the other side was a 2 hit. Right, third one. Large attack they're not getting. Allied air power. Wow. Well, we could have played that 40 air power, but right, that doesn't apply. And then last one. Oh my god. Seriously. Ouch. Look at that as well. Both of them were like 2 hits if it'd been Allied air power. And both priorities were the German side. Well, maybe just as well I did what I did, didn't it? Yeah. Well, we still would have, if we had... What was the option if we didn't play the Third Army card? To have 2-to-1 odds and... Yeah, we would have just had 1 unit there though, wouldn't we? We would have just had that unit there. So it would have been Stetlos. So he would have been there on his own, reduced. But at least now we're going to have 2 units there. I mean, okay, there maybe wasn't too much of a gamble in losing the actual town. Maybe either way. Maybe the 4 chits I could have just let go and kept that Third Army card. But I did feel a bit naughty. I mean, to be honest, he got 2 hits. All this needed to be was like, well, any kind of D1 hit, and we would be toast if I'd done it the other way. So, right, okay, let's just double check the numbers. Okay, so it is 1 hit to him. It's 2 to us. 1 for the city, and then. Yeah, we take it on this guy to keep. He does drop to 1 strength, but nah. It's still better to have the 2 units there with. That doubles to 6 strength. Compared to just having 1 unit with 4 strength and 2 stats. I think it's probably better. Yeah, 6 is better than 4. Okay, and that satisfies the second hit. So, yeah, that's right. And then he takes 1 hit. Is that right? He's not hunting. No assault coordinations or anything like that. So it's going to be highest unit number 8. Well, I think he was the one that he took a hit before, didn't he? He just got repaired actually. That was good timing for them too, wasn't it? Got repaired and then came right into combat. So that satisfies their hit. Yeah, wow. Okay. Right, we'll clear things up a bit there. So, well, actual fact, we do have another, well, 1 realistic check, I think. Well, even if it is, to be honest. This is 4 against 3, but he's coming across the river, so it's 2 against 3. However, he is dispersed, so I think it could be 1-to-1 odds still. 2 against 3. Oh, and we've got it. Oh, and the reserves come into this. Oh dear. But to be honest, they might not have any cards left in their hand. But we if they finish their cards and their impulse, we still get to play 1 card. So 1 more impulse anyway. Sorry. Right. So we do consider the 2. So he's got 8 strength, and if they were placed in either one of these hexes, they could trace reserve supply. 1, 2, yeah, there's not a problem with that. I don't believe. So that's turns of strength now. None of them can be deployed across the river, can they? No. So the first one's going to go into this empty hex, isn't it? So anyway, they're both going to be coming across the river. So it's going to be 12. So it's going to be 6 against 3. However, like I've already said, it's not clear, it's broken terrain, isn't it? He's not adjacent to Spy unit, but he is dispersed. Yeah, so he gets a -1 for that, so it's 6 to 2, so it's 3 to 1 odds. Modifiers, we don't have elites. No army group card, no support card, no modifiers, but 3 to 1 odds. I can't see that. Don't use can either. I'll just turn the box. 8. With no modifiers, cancel if less than 3 to 1. Well, that isn't, it's 3 to 1, so this is going ahead as well. This video's getting huge. Right, hang on, I'm just going to pause. Right, so we've got a combat there. I'm going to pause this and I need to cut this bit or it's going to cause trouble. So I'll be back shortly, guys, okay? Cheers. Right, straight back to the action. Just had to make that cut. Right, so combat going ahead here from this unit as a lead unit. And the fact we've got 2 reserves, so that's kind of what brought it, made it happen. Okay, so the last card is okay. I think I always talked about the fact that this was the one way of not activating one of the big primary cores is drawing it as the last card because it now can't shuffle in. So we're drawing it for artillery. So well, I'd say that was quite handy, but the 47th are not what they started the game as. So hold on. I've just had a thought. Don't tell me. Surely Martin would have told me. See when I clearly forgot about this check with this 2nd Panzer unit. He was full strength at the time. You know, when I had low supply, I fixed that issue. However, I fixed it. Did I consider the... No, they weren't active, Grant. Whew. Yeah, it wasn't a core card that activated them, was it? It was the Lehr and 2nd Panzer. I just started thinking, oh, could they have considered the reserves to be part of the combat for the determination? No, it was 2nd Panzer and Lehr. Yeah, and they only had that one unit. Okay. Right, relax. Okay. So yeah, like what I was saying here, there's no cards left, so although we're using this for artillery, it won't shuffle in. Yeah, so it is just the same. If the German draw pile's exhausted, it says you just discard the card. So yeah, well, it is quite good, but like I say, the 47th aren't. However, it would have probably got this guy making a move, wouldn't it? Which we didn't really want. Not only that, he's got, if he ended up in a place that the reserves could come in, he's got 3 strong reserve units to come in. So, okay, well, that's not going to happen, so good. Right, so they've got artillery. We do have 1 card, although, hang on, the unit's dispersed anyway. He's not on low supply though. Can I play a combat tactic with that? I don't think I can. Yeah, no, I can't play a combat tactic, and also they may disregard one hit. Yeah. Okay, so that's our card play. There's no support card. Now the reserves. Okay. 4.21. Right. So in ascending order, we've got these two guys. So we've got a 5 and a 6. So unit 5 first. Like I say, they couldn't get into this hex, could they? Because, oh, could they? No, because they have to trace across into there, then they'd have to go down this road. That's them on the road, but they need to go through this hex, which is, there's a zone of control there, so no, fortunately. So they want to go into hex to cause the defender to be surrounded. That's the first choice. They can't do that. Then an empty hex. Okay, so this is the only empty hex that can go. So unit 5 will go into there, attacking. Then unit 6, well, there's no empty hexes left. Then the hex with the fewest German units. They're all 1s. If more than one choice remains, place the hex closest to the reserve unit's army objective. Right, well that is his army objective, right? So any one of these hexes would be closest, but I guess tie-breaking you go west, because, so I believe he's going to go in here. Yeah, none of them can avoid the cross river, can they? All the hexes are across river. Yeah, okay. So that's 4, 8, 12, so half to 6. Now we're just straight up strength, so 63, so 2 to 1 odds. We can't play a card, as we've just said. So 2 to 1 odds. Chip pools are 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 units and artillery, so 4. They don't get anything else for the disperse, but they do get to ignore a hit. Right, like I say, we can't play a card, so let's just draw the chits. 4 chits at 2 to 1 odds. Right, we got the chits. Okay, there we go. Well, great chit to start with. He's in the broken hex. Then we get 2 attacker artilleries, and both. The priority was the defender artillery on the other side, and if you notice, I do have artillery in my hand. I wasn't able to play it even if I could. And this one was 6 to 1 on the front, 4 to 1 on the back. So yeah, it's not the best. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've got a D1, haven't we? So yeah, 1 hit to us, none to them, and well, they were going to ignore 1 anyway. Dispersed, may not move, attack or advance. So nothing there about retreat. Oh yeah, there is. Units stacked with it may retreat only 1 hex. So I can only make 1 retreat. Well, I've only got 1 hit. So do I want to hold my ground? Well, probably not, but that means they get to advance across that river into their army objective marker. Maybe I do want to hold that hex. I mean, the problem is it's a bracket unit, it's not a town as well, so I need to check what happens once they reach that last army objective marker. I think that could be worthwhile looking at, just to see how important it is for me to, like, maybe not move out of that hex. Yeah, I was wondering, I noticed that we've got exit hexes. Now, I've already said that any road hex that's adjacent to the map edge, west or north of the Meuse, becomes, well, is a German exit hex. They can leave the map and they'll gain victory points that way. And then I knew there was these markers, but I just wondered how But I'm just looking, it's just the 7th Army, I think. They have, for their last placement, they can be placed in a hex and marked with an exit hex. So I don't think that's... oh no, yeah, there is some. Don't know, there is some further up as well with the 6th Panzer Army. 0113 West, and then it's an exit hex. So that's a way back here. Sorry, I'm off camera there. The third objective placement table shows this hex here, 0113. If we'd rolled the dice, that would the objective marker would have went there, and that exit hex would have been there, I think. Which, that's not really west or north of the Meuse, is it? No. Okay, anyway, that's not happening, so not sure why we're going about it. So what happens is the marker get removed, and for the 5th Panzer Army or the 6th Panzer Army, it gets put in hex 0, that's a misprint on the... It was errata to say it was, because it's not a 0139 hex. 0129 is right along here. So that's where the objective marker would be placed. And they would just start heading along to there. So, I suppose moving back, that's all that would happen. But that's probably not the important. The important bit is, or is it? Is keeping my full strength better. Oh dear. I just realised this was one of the units that we went and repaired as well, wasn't it? That was quite fortunate. Remember I said that I thought that it was more important to maybe do that a bit earlier. Yeah, because we were wondering if we could do it, the fact he was dispersed. I feel really tempted to leave him there, but I don't think I want them advancing across the river. I mean, the downside to it, well, he's dispersed at the minute anyway, so these units could cross into here. But even when the end of the day comes, which is quite soon, he's going to be bracketed in that hex. And like I say, it's not a town or anything. So all these units are going to be free to just, well, okay, not that one, but this one could, and these ones could jump across here. Unless I can strengthen that hex somehow. You know what, I might be able to, I might be able to deploy the 5th Army units in there, maybe, because their map edge, you only need to be 2 away, and they'll be within 3 of that. That's not bad, and then try and get a quick activation on them, moving them into that hex. Yeah, but if I retreat this unit, he's going to advance, isn't he? Yeah, that's a forward arrow. That one's going to advance, and it's only reinforced battle and assault coordination that they can't advance. The reserve, they came in by reserve, so that's okay as well. Right. Well, maybe controversial, but I'm going to take a step loss. And I think I might try and get the 5th Panzer Army unit, the 5th Armoured units of 5th Corps deployed into a position where next turn that could maybe be a priority to go and support that hex, or just shore up things along the river there. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, so, and then, like I say, this is not got any deck to shuffle into, so quite fortunate for us to just be discarding that. Last unit, this unit's adjacent to here, but that's not a check. It's not only across a river, it's into a city. They've got plenty of strength. He's only 2 strength, and he's no reserves left to be able to join the party. So I believe that's our impulse over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 units, isn't there? Yeah, I can see them all turned 45 degrees, so they've all done something. So that is the German day finished from their point of view. So it does look like we have survived. Just the skin of our teeth. How we got through that deck without a bridge engineer's event. Oh, that's what would have happened if there hadn't been an attack there. We would have drawn these 2 cards. So yeah, this would, if there hadn't been an attack and we'd drawn this as a combat tactic. To be honest, there ended up being 2 attacks, so maybe we were safe there. But let's just say there hadn't been, we would have drawn these last 2 cards. This would have been the command card, this would have been the support card, and it's got the Bridge Engineers event. So there we go. Grant lucks out again, eh? Yeah, okay. Right, so we've got one last impulse. It's more than likely just going to be to deploy the 5th armoured units. The very last guard of the day. I've been talking about it right through the day, so but I'll cut this because I think this video's become too long now. So what I think I'll do is I'll upload this one as a sort of final, well, not the final part, but and then play my last impulse, and might just be quite a short finish to it, but I don't think I can split up any other way. One of them is going to end up being short, so it's better this one's more worthy of a watch than the last bit. Okay guys, I'll be back soon though, because I want to get this day finished and possibly even move on, just get the start of the day going at least, so I can maybe keep thinking about it, because I think time for me sitting at the table is going to start easing off over the next few days. I might not be able to get sat down so much, so but we'll see what our thinking is about trying to move on, because like I said to you, the victory point totals that the Germans need start going down now. So they need less, so it's going to get tougher as well. Right, okay, I'll be back soon. Cheers. Hi all. Right, okay, the last card of the day, 5th Corps, to deploy the units, I think. So there's only 2 of these units in this division. That's all they have. Well, according to the card, the actual division card, it shows there only been 2 units, so it must just come that way. So they're not on the board yet. So I need to deploy them on a road. So my thinking is this hex here, which is on a road hex, it's a valid supply, and yes, it can just trace off the map. At least 3 hexes away from a German unit or German town, excluding isolated German units. This distance is reduced to 2 hexes of placing the unit on a map edge hex. So that's why I get away with putting it here, because we're 2 away from a German unit and 2 away from a German town, well, city, which I'm assuming is the same. But however, we're 2 away there, and then not in or adjacent to a hex occupied by a German detachment. Right, okay. And then it needs to try and be 3 away from the unit in the same division. Well, there's not a division, but there's a, is that on camera? Yes. There's a 1st Division 5th Corps unit in this city. So 1, 2, 3. So he's within 3 of that. And they need to come on together. So I think this is probably the best place to put them. I would have liked maybe one to support Hui, but the only other option was taking 3 from, it's way down here, which I think I initially looked at 1, 2, 3. So I could get them in this hex, that's 3 away. Well, that supports way. Okay, you might say, is that not the more important hex? But there's 2 units in there. There's 1 bracketed unit in there, so and yeah, it would be nice if I could have put one of them into here and then maybe put one of them down to way, but yeah, I'm not quite got the movement to do all that. So I still think it's better putting them there, because I think maybe this is more important, because these guys are going to come across the river, surround that guy if I don't do something. So going to go with that. So that's going to be the last card play of the day to deploy the units. Talked about it all day about deploying them, and managed it with the last card. What do you know? Right, okay, that's no cards left. Let's finish the day, end of day phase. So check victory conditions. Right, we better have a look. So we're on the 24th. We need them to have less than 25 victory points for strategic win. Okay, it's not on the table anyway. They need greater than 60 points, 60 victory points for us to get a strategic loss. They weren't able to add any more, fortunately. So they ended up with 56. I'm probably quite lucky to still be in the game, to be honest. The last 2 cards, if they came out differently, there was a bridge engineer there, which would have lost me the game. The attack on way here, okay, maybe it didn't look as rough as I thought. However, it could have ended in tears there as well, because they just needed to grab that for enough victory points to win. So, okay, so discard my hand, draw power, return the combat chips to the cup. I will do that. Remove all disperse and out of fuel markers. I will do that. There's quite a lot of disperse units here, one up there, German one there. There's also an out of fuel marker. I think there's just the one down the south, which we never got to attack, unfortunately. But, well, if I'd done that, I might be just clearing up the game right now. So, and then check detachment markers for removal and advance a day marker on the calendar, start a new day. Yeah, I've just realised this is going to be a very short video, isn't it? Well, you know what, I can possibly just make this the start of the next part. That's a bit silly, Grant. I should really add this on, shouldn't I? Thing is, the video, I'm just putting it together now, and it's 1 hour 30, 1 hour 40 minutes long, I think, almost. Now, this one's only going to add 10 minutes, so isn't it? Hang on. Okay, just try to get rid of these detachment markers. A lot of them falling off, obviously. This one's okay still, though. German supply traceable, Allied supply traceable off the map here. Allied supply traceable, German supply can just get across to there and that. This one, however, Allied supply traceable, but German supply is not. I don't think. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, it is. It can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then trace up and around. Yeah, so that one is alright, okay. There's this one here, German supply is cool, traceable. Allied supply can actually be traced 1, 2, 3 down on the road now. Down the road, along through Bastogne, down into this hex and then away. Oops, right. Zoom out even a bit more there, Grant. You're going too far, right? So through Bastogne and then down and away this way. So, yeah, that one's okay. Right, I'll move on. I had to come back there. I've got to remember towns count here as well, don't they? Like, no, Grant, what are you thinking? No, is that not the next part? Sorry, hang on. During the end of the day phase, if either Allied or German supply cannot be traced to a detachment marker in a hex other than a town. No, that's when we come to generate detachments, the occupied towns come into it, don't they? Yeah, that is right. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Okay, so there's a few still to check. Probably just down here, I think. Right, these two are okay. Ally supply 1, 2, 3 into here and then away. German supply 1 into here. This is an Allied bridge, but he can cross 1 and then he's on this road and away. This one can go 1, 2, 3 for German supply and away. An Allied supply goes that way, so that's fine. This one, yeah, I didn't think this one was, but yeah, as he can go into this road and then go up this way for Allied supply and then round and away. And then for German supply, you can just go into this hex and go that way. So that one's okay. This one, well, Allied supply is clearly traceable as German. No, because I don't think he's getting through here, is he? No, so that one's going to drop off, I think. Alright. Can't go, yeah, well, we can't even come down because this is a river here and you can't go into that hex. So yeah, I think that one's dropping off. And I think that's it. Okay. I think that's everything. So there's a quick glance at the big picture. I'll now put this. I'll add this on to the end, so it's another 10 minutes. So it is an awful long video at the end there, guys, but it'd be a bit silly to add this bit. You know, it's not even 9 minutes or so. Okay, so going to wrap this up. This will be the end of the 24th. We live to fight another day. On to the 25th. Well, we've still got our work cut out. Okay, I'll be back soon, guys. Cheers.